Hi everyone, you're listening to the Vialucci podcast, uncensored and completely unedited discussions about life and everything in it. We hope you enjoy the show.
3, 2, 1, and we're live. Yo, 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 yo. Energy. Up.
Yeah.
Yo.
Waka waka woo.
What's going on?
Well, just trying to, get the energies up. It's late at night, we've got to motivate the
Late
crowd.
at night, it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows when people are
dark.
listening? Anyway, cool.
Yeah.
Hi everyone.
Oh,
Free
hello.
podcast
Hi.
time.
Hello. Charles, you're in a particularly good mood today. Are you feeling healthy today?
No, quite the opposite.
Oh, bloody hell.
But I'm soldiering through it. I never
really
feel healthy. What are you talking about?
No, I thought, because, you look like effervescent, so I thought maybe you're having a good day, a good belly day.
Oh, yeah, no, it was weird because I was realizing, this last week, I was like, what's different? And I was like, oh, I'm not in an incredible amount of pain all the time.
Cheese has left the building.
Yeah.
Well, I did have some, some of the gorgeous French one. I forgot what it's called. Roquefort.
So can you eat dairy, Lee? Was that no? That's like
dairy's
really.
fine. I think I should.
Cheese.
I think I should avoid wheat. I think I'm.
Wheat.
Wheat intolerant. I think that's part of
Yeah,
it.
you do have to
Are
keep
you
an eye
actually
out,
wheat
please.
intolerant or?
No, but when I find out, I've cut out bread because when I was eating sandwiches, it would swell my mouth up.
Not the the buckets of cheese. I've cut out the bread.
Yeah.
The small bit of crust that surrounds the.
Yeah. That bit.
I think
Now
you're
the
lying
cheese
to
is
yourself.
the bread. It's just 3 layers of cheese.
I think
Get rid of the
last time
cheese from the burger. Still,
I
have
had
the burger,
cheese
it's fine.
was the ones you dairy slices you get. But I remember looking at it and going, it's shiny. I mean, I can almost see me face in it. That's not cheese. Shouldn't sort of glisten. In the...
No, that's all the chemicals waving back, isn't it? Really?
Just a picture of the devil. Eat the plastic. Well, anyway, so here we are. What was he talking about? It was a statement of fact. We was talking about the Trump hangers-on that are all now starting to come out and say, I saw, is it Kellyanne? Who was the PR?
Kellyanne Conway, yeah.
The
The woman who looked like a skeleton.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Nice.
She was now saying that I was disagreeing with him in private.
Yeah.
Come on! Just you must know you're a caricature of sort of 1945 Germany, where suddenly everyone was like, I didn't. It wasn't nothing about it. I didn't like it. I didn't really like it.
Well, she's going to sell a book. They all have a tell-all book. They will all have a tell-all book.
I can never really understand the thing with her and her husband, because her husband didn't like it, and I was thinking, is this some sort of weird ploy? Because that's an odd situation. I have one that loves Trump and one that hates Trump.
Well, the daughter spoke out, didn't she? Their daughter spoke
she
out
said,
against
yeah.
her. And
Yeah.
just kind of,
What was
pretty
she?
much
Was she a
denounced
press?
her.
Was she a press thing?
Her
Press
press secretary, I believe.
She
I
was.
Certainly,
I think she was an aide. She was an advisor /
Yeah, it was
aide.
something. Yeah.
She basically was a proxy person because she was sort of affiliated. I don't know if she wasn't direct. I don't know if she was direct staff or not. I can't remember.
I'm
I
going
think
to
she
go
was
look this
retained.
up.
But she basically when they wanted someone to come out and defend him.
Yeah.
Oh, she
Like,
was a
she just
counsellor,
jumped.
was her.
There we go. Yeah. I thought an advisor. Yeah, the advisor.
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah. It was a very weird term. It was a very ill-defined term. So
I see something where there was a 3-time swimming gold medalist, Olympic gold medalist called Cletus or something like that. Cleat Keller, that was something like that. Anyway, I mean, it is very close to sort of Cletus.
Cletus. Yeah.
But yeah, he was at the Riots as well. So you think if you won the Olympian title 3 times, you'd sort of be a bit more balanced and reasoned and sort of worldly. Apparently they nicked or they're investigated. As of the other day, there was 28 off-duty police officers were there, part of the Riots.
Yeah.
28 of them.
Yeah.
And who was there? Was the woman there that was part of the psychology? She did psychology entrance thing. I can't remember now. But,
The woman who died, the woman who was shot by the Secret Service, she was a former Air Force intelligence person.
Oh,
who
that
worked-
might have been her. Yeah,
who
the
worked
woman,
on
yeah.
psyops and stuff.
That was it. That's it. Yeah.
Very odd. Yeah.
So
Illuminati deep state. Yeah.
I mean, do you see the thing about the copper who's been out speaking about it, saying that he was stopping them getting in, and they sort of pulled him into the crowd, and they pulled his like magazine out, they pulled his gun, and they were
Tried to
saying
get
like
his gun,
shooting
yeah.
with his own gun, shooting with his own gun. He said it was only like luckily. He said he said to him, there was a couple of people that were sort of protecting him a little bit, and he said, "What would you like to say to them?" He said, "Well, thank you, but what the f were you doing there in the first
Yeah.
place?"
Yeah.
It seems like a
Thank
weird
you for
thing
not
to-
murdering me.
yeah, slowing down the murder.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Thanks for not killing me, but you know.
And the thing is, where's all this surveillance? Like, we got cameras up the arse, like it's everywhere. That should have just kicked in immediately and just like rounded up everyone, like just immediately. Everyone, we know who you are, we know what you're doing. I mean, to the fact that they're videoing each other, and that was the weird thing. Like, here I am committing a crime live. You go,
Because they
God.
think they were on the right. They thought, like,
Yeah.
oh, this is it. We're going to overthrow. Our time has come.
But
Blah,
that's
blah,
a
blah.
lot of confidence, though, to be actually filming yourself.
Well, it's a
That
lot of
is like,
confidence
this
to
is-
break through and assume you're not going to be shot.
Yeah.
I guess that's what we call white privilege.
Well, he might
I guess,
have been
but-
there when you're there the night before, being shown around by the senators there. So this is the panic buttons here were removed. That sort of stuff.
Well, they had people. Apparently, people had plans as well of like the underground bits.
Right, yeah.
They
Well, there was
literally
the
had-
one where they found the senator's room, wasn't it? And he wasn't marked. And they said, well, how did he know? How did they know that was his room because it's not marked? So they're gonna have to go. There's gonna pull some people out of there. I mean, the fact that even after it happened, there's still some people that work there going, this is rubbish and blah blah blah. You go, oh my god, you are like fully embedded in this, like you are. But there's got to be, it's the whole thing, consequences. Got to come back to these consequences. If there's any sort of moving on or any of that and moving past this and getting over it, then that'll be, you're just setting up the next one. That's all you're doing. You're setting up the next one. And that's the thing you got to remember.
There have been over 100 arrests so far from the FBI.
Yeah, it's got to, stuff has to happen because arrests lead to thing, and then it's just a month and he didn't do anything, and no, what actually who spends times in jail? It's like with the bankers, who spends time in jail. I don't really want to hear from you for a year. Just come back to me next year and say who went to jail. I don't want to hear the news reports, the investigations. Just tell me nothing and who went to jail. Well, there'd be a few people and one nutter.
I wonder if they're being a bit coy about charging a lot of people in case Trump pardons them, because Trump can pardon federal. Apparently, can charge. You can only pardon federal charges. So that's the FBI, basically.
Right, yeah.
So the FBI wait just literally a couple of days.
Yeah.
Till inauguration, they can like hold people and question them.
Do you think
if
he
they
would
wait a couple of
pardon
days,
them?
charge?
I don't think he's got any. There's nothing to do. He doesn't care anymore. Like, do you know what I mean?
Also,
It's time-
these aren't, the people on the ground, the QAnon shame and all them people. He doesn't give a shit about them. Sure.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
these are pawns, aren't they?
Yeah.
You've got to lose. These are nothing. These
And
are
also
good
the fact that he's changed his tune so much. I wonder what they said to him, because he's going out, unless there's like a pardon, because he has really sort of said, right, they were wrong, like the stuff that he would never say. So you go, right, what have they said to him to make him go, yeah, they're actually violent, they're nothing to do with me? Like, he's properly cut them out. You go, so what have they said to you for you to say that? Not your sort of half-hearted, go and knock it on and tell them it was wrong. You've really gone, no, this is disgraceful, they're not part of me and all that. You go, that's sort of like pardon type apology. That's you're going to get off with everything if you do this. Because he really went out and said, like, they're nothing to do with me. So he's got nothing to gain there. So
I'm sure they've got more on him, like than just this. And maybe they'll say, you know what, we've got a drawer full of stuff on you. Got some videos of you doing some weird stuff.
Yeah.
Got some actual evidence of you doing some other stuff. If you don't do this, all of a sudden, in a couple of days' time, when you're not president anymore, we're going to put you in prison forever.
yeah, so that's
for the
what I
rest of
mean.
your
So I
life.
wonder, is there a pardon? Because that level of sort of apology, that's pardon material. That's not like, be nice or we're going to take your money away. That's like, he's almost cutting them out, almost, which is all he's got, really. So he must be throwing them under the bus for a reason. But it's the fact that I've got no confidence in the next administration doing anything about things, because they just don't. They never do stuff. There's always deals being made. You leave, you go quietly, and then we'll make sure. All that. But the stupidity of going, no, you just set up the next one. That's what you just did. You just set up the next one, ready to do it again, because there's no consequences. And that's the thing you got to remember. It's not like it's not going back to the good times for the Americans. It's going back to base level, which was awful. it wasn't great. It's not like, oh, we're free. No, we're going back to the way it was with the corruption and all that, and it's very intelligent and all the deals being made. There was a quote
But
by
I have to say, I know it's not a revolutionary change or whatever, because I don't think Biden will do that. But
No.
I think to not have to but not have to think about stuff like what the president's up to. Is he just going to nuke Is he going to wipe out all life on human Earth?
Yeah, again, but you've still
is he going to
got to
set up concentration camps? Is he going to hold another election? Like to just kind of like I think the status quo is a relief.
It's a little bit like Obama after George W. Bush, when you're like,
yes,
oh, it's nice waking up not assuming we're going to nuclear war with.
Yeah, but that's what I
Iran
mean.
or
I don't like this sort of like, okay, everything's fine again now. No, it's all corruption.
Yeah, you've still got to work.
But
The thing is, you've got to. Things happen gradually. It's not. I know it's like.
I mean,
saying,
I'll take the fact that it's a nice
thing
little.
is, I know. You'd rather have the let's rip the band-aid off kind of thing, but every time that's happened in history, it's just led to chaos, and actually it reinforces the status quo because people go, "Fuck me, that was so chaotic, and I couldn't even get anything."
But you can't say you.
I know you've got to, but
because
no, I'm not saying you don't do it. There is. I know this might sound crazy. There is a happy medium somewhere between
it just has
not
to happen,
carrying on and everyone being guillotined everywhere.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like we could try a third way.
The day of the rope.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like
Malcolm X, he had a quote. He said, oh God, what was that? He said, it's like somebody stabs you with a 9-inch knife and pulls it out 6 inches. You don't call that progress. It's like you've still been stabbed. But there's no faith in them. Like if there was a Bernie Sanders or something, you go, okay, now something might. I'm not often for extremes, but something like just give me something that might happen. But you just go because if everything that he's done and he doesn't go to jail, that's it. The next one's just getting ready to go then, because there's no, unless he literally does shoot somebody in the face, as he said.
The only thing I would say is that there has been consequences outside of if everyone cutting ties with him, all these financial institutions. New York have cancelled all his deals. Was it Deutsche Bank have cut?
Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank, who've been a big financer of a lot of these real estate deals. Yeah.
So
they've been underwriting a lot of his debts.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, what all these people care about, and the only thing that they can function on is money.
But I mean, even the kick off social media, like he's getting attacked from all sides. But my problem, in a strange way, now is why did he do the apology? What phone call? What was said on that phone call that you've done that sort of? You've thrown all your supporters under the bus. What? Because that's a big thing. I would have been more happy if he said, "Look, the good people on both sides tried to milk it over, and then had a go at everybody else again as usual." The fact he's just said no. Wrong, but I was like, right.
I think there was a meeting between Pelosi and the chiefs of staff and some of the cabinet. I think it was on a day or two after whatever we're calling it. We can't even clarify what we're talking. Was it a riot? Was it a protest? Was it a terrorist
assault
attack?
on the Capitol building?
Was it an insurrection? I don't know. The incident, let's say, whatever, the sixth atrocity. And it seemed that was the point where the Joint Chiefs said that they would not honor a nuclear strike order. And basically they were talking then about removing him, about being unfit. I think they might have threatened to section him at that point.
Yeah, but it could have been a deal like, look, pencil play ball and not 25th Amendment if you go out and apologise.
I don't think I don't think his brain would accept that as a sort of like, it's got to be bigger than that. It's got to be something to do with money or a complete pardon. His brain wouldn't accept, his child brain saying you're not going to be. He doesn't care about impeachment and getting kicked out and all that. He just cares about survival. So I don't think that registers with him.
I think it's something bigger. That's his pride, though. I do think. But a lot of that's
he doesn't want to be thrown. This is to him, this is a great big country club, and he doesn't want to be thrown out.
Yeah.
Because he's always had everyone stick his nose up at him.
But I still think his apology was too strong. I think there was a bigger thing.
Yeah, but then he immediately afterwards, he did that apology video and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry." Well, he didn't apologise, frankly.
Oh, he did something else.
Yeah, he did. And then he went back on Twitter. He was allowed back on Twitter. Then it was like, they didn't, basically like, this is all too much. And so they chucked him off again. So there was, the video was probably done to go.
It was a one-off. Okay.
No, I think the video was almost him going, they can use that as evidence and go, look, he's saying that he thought it was a bad thing. Therefore he can't have been inciting the.
Yeah.
So
He's actually telling them not to. Yeah.
I thought he was suspended off Twitter.
No, he'd been banned now.
Permabanned. Wasn't that the funniest thing? Like,
And then he tried to go onto the White. Then he started using the White House for the first time. Oh no, the POTUS one. Sorry, because he doesn't. He just uses his personal one. Then he started using the POTUS. The official one. Doing, it was the same thing with the caps and all the weird like declamatory, and then that got suspended, I think.
And he tried using Melania's, right?
Oh,
and then he was texting other people, apparently like a whole bunch of people around him, like a lot of the aides and a lot of apparently like his personal sort of secretaries and aides all were banned as well, because he was just grabbing their phone and going, I need to tweet, oh god.
I just imagine all these people that have gone through the merry-go-round, that, people that you forgot. You're like, oh yes, Scaramucci was in there for like 6 days. All these people suddenly just lying in bed, minding their own bit, beep, 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 beep.
Hey, remember me? Yeah.
Who's this texting at 11:30?
Yeah, 3 in the morning. What the hell is this? Yeah.
It's the only enjoyment I get is knowing that every minute is hurting him. Like every minute's just dripping away in front of him. Nice. I was a bit annoyed that all the 28 police officers. I thought, oh god, I thought there'd be like 1 or 2, and that was of like a couple of days ago. That's the start. That's the first wave.
I think there'll be more.
28.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But then you sort of have sort of young black people in America going, yeah, I'm surprised it's not more.
It's not a surprise. It really wasn't a surprise. I assumed when I saw that first message, I honestly went, I wonder how many off-duty police officers are in there. Yeah,
right. Yeah, because that was only like 3 or 4 days in. That's like just the initial right. Oh, right, I know you. It's not like a proper investigation that's happened yet. When does it all kick off? Like when does he get booted out? What's it?
Well, the 20th, isn't it?
Yes, Wednesday, I think it is. Yes.
Next week.
I think it's 12. I think it's 12 p.m. Eastern time. So it'll be about 5 or 6 in this country.
Oh. Did you see about the Trump's doctor? His famous doctor has died recently.
Oh, what? Brent Spiner from Independence Day.
Yeah, I looked at it. I thought that's not a doctor. I thought it was a picture from a different article.
Yeah, you go, no, that's Brent Spiner from Independence Day. What?
Or the doctor from Back to the Future. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Honestly, because I heard someone described him as that, and then I was like, really? And then I googled the picture. I'm like, oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, he did just look like a slob, didn't he? This is weird. Sorry, we're being very unkind to someone that, like, the body's not even got. Oh no, this is a few days ago. I mean,
didn't he get struck off? Didn't he get struck off though for prescribing prescription medications?
Well, also, people? I wouldn't be surprised. But he also admitted that he made that up, all the stuff about Trump, didn't he? But Harold Bornstein is this gentleman's name.
Can you pick up?
Died a couple of days ago.
Yeah, if you can find some of the quotes that he said, because I'd forgotten what he'd said about Trump, and you go, "Oh, come on!"
We'll be the healthiest individual elected.
Again. Have you touched your bloody computer?
Have I frozen?
Hello,
Andrew?
Hello?
Are you still there?
I can still see me moving.
Oh, you're moving around now. You get.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you bring up find some of the quotes what he'd said about Trump?
Yeah, because he said Trump will be the healthiest individual.
Well, he said that he was one pound under obese, and he had a full head of hair that no one had ever seen, the fullest head of hair anyone had ever seen.
The fittest men in Polygon.
So apparently someone asked him and said, well, what do you, how can you say that when the guy's 70, the oldest person elected to office? And he said, if something happens to him, then it happens to him.
But it was obviously written by him. When you had it written out.
Yeah, just say that. Because it was too over the top. All right, Andrew, you're back.
Yeah. It sounded like a 7-year-old had written it, basically. So it was obviously Trump.
Have you got any Dr. Trump quotes? Dr. Trump.
Apparently there was
in the house.
Yeah.
Why? It's because I'm trying to reveal the Trump records.
Get awkward. This is live. This is.
Yeah.
Oh, Kerem, he's popped up.
Hey, Kerem.
It's like.
Yeah.
Oh, because you're opening up. Yeah, you're opening up stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that was the voice of God there. Just came out from the skies.
Am I back now?
Right, so leave that. But yeah, he was saying like. He's incredibly fit. He's the fittest politician I've ever. And you go, surely that you must have pushed back a little bit at him. I said, look, can I just not say that? Can I just word it differently? The fittest politician. There was another thing he said. It's all this Trump speak of like, I can't believe how fit he is for the. All that sort of like, oh, he's so shocked. I was watching something the other day and it was showing some of his quotes and things he'd said. It's one of the most embarrassing things was the man, woman, TV, that thing, when he says the doctors were like, I don't believe it. How did you do that? And you go, oh God, like at least make it look reasonably believable. The doctor said, wow, how did you do that? Mind you, they might have been patronising him. They might have literally gone, look, he's an idiot child. We better talk to him like that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Might be true.
honestly, when he relays some of these stories, he goes, I talked to the head general and I said, why don't we put a nuclear bomb in the hurricanes? We nuke the hurricanes. And he said, okay, sure, we'll look into that. Yeah, definitely. And I'm like, he's like a child. He's like, yeah. Okay, well, we'll definitely look into it.
Yeah.
and it belays the fact that everyone's just thinking, what the hell? Like, everyone's just patronising him, nodding at him. Like,
Well,
he's
those
an
little
idiot
videos
child.
when he's doing his live speeches, and then the videos of just people in the background, their eyes sort of going, "Shut up!" Like, don't say about the
Yeah,
bleach.
about that woman. She's just shuffling awkwardly in her
Just the eyes
seat.
opening
Everyone's
like
literally
that.
distancing and was shuffling away, literally physically distancing. Like those corona briefings he did, and every expert was just like, "Oh my, what is he saying now?"
Yeah. Oh God, poor old.
Did
Trump.
you
What
did you see? I read a transcript. I didn't read the whole thing because it's so long, but I read a bit of the transcript of that speech he made before the riot. Yeah,
the march on the march? Yeah.
yeah, before the whatever the hell, before those 5 people got killed. You know that he just went on about Oprah loads.
Oh, did he? About what?
Did he?
Because he was saying, everyone's so mean to me, the election was rigged. And in fact, many people don't know this, but me and Oprah used to be very, very good friends. Oprah had me on a lot, and, she was very respectful. Turns out, though, she was very disloyal and a nasty woman.
She probably
and
put
I
out
was
one
on the
tweet
last
that
show.
morning.
I was on the last show. And, they had the 5 most important people, the 5 best people she's ever had. And I was one of them. And she picked that and she told me, she came to me and she said, Donald, you're one of the greatest people I've ever known. And then she wouldn't say that now. And I'm just like, and
Yeah,
then
she must have sent a tweet that morning or something, and he's using his platform to have a pop at her back.
these are the words that inspired people to go and install the Capitol.
Yeah.
Some senile old maniac whittering
Is
on
he
about
talking
his
about
famous
Oprah?
friend.
Oprah?
Yeah,
What's his-
yeah.
I don't know. I've got no idea. I'm just here for the fight.
But I think in a lot
And
of
they're in there
things,
going, I will die for that man. I will kill for him.
but that's
It's,
why
I
I think
like the
it gives
fact that
people a purpose, doesn't it? It gives these people, these directionless kind of people, it gives them a purpose. It gives them something bigger than themselves.
Rudy Giuliani to go for the trial by combat speech. You go, Jesus, you used to be like a high-powered lawyer. Oh, Andrew,
He used to be
I
quite
think
respected,
Andrew-
didn't he?
Oh, he's okay. Yeah. So he's not paying Rudy his money.
Yeah.
So
genius.
that's nice. But he was charging him 20
Oh, I didn't know
grand
that.
a day.
When was that?
He said he hadn't paid him for 2 months. What's that? What was
I'm
that?
sure he hasn't paid him hardly anything in the last 5 years of knowing him.
But
Honestly.
20 grand a day, that seems a lot of money for nonsense.
But it's all coming out the slush fund, though. I'm sure. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's the
suppose he
thing.
doesn't care. He's not
Yeah, he's
weighing
not
the
going to pay
budget
for
up.
it.
Yeah.
It's all coming out the Stop the Steal. Pack,
But you go,
isn't
it is
So-
like when he was doing the speech from what was it, next to the porn place, the law, the thing.
Yeah, well, that
And then-
garden centre.
And then getting to the point of going to the trial by combat. I mean, that's a lawyer. You'd think like language, unless you are just going senile. Because that's not like, you don't unlearn stuff. You're still a lawyer. You must know that unless it was pure confidence, they thought it's either like they did believe they were going to take over, but take over what? You can't just take over a building and that's it. You've revolutionised everything. He must be going mad, like senile, to say that.
I think they've just surrounded themselves. They got rid of anyone who was at all critical or anyone who was saying, actually, that's impossible because of the laws of physics.
Yeah.
And I do think that, he surrounded himself with a bunch of yes men and just obviously been driven mad by the power.
Yeah, I was
really
thinking that. Yeah,
has,
as you said that, I thought, they're living in an echo chamber. They've now lost touch with reality. They think there is something actually happening there. And you go, no,
I mean, I'm sure he listened to a bit of the call he made to that governor, the governor of Georgia.
What was this now? Oh, the Trump call.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
right,
he
yeah.
was because it was really interesting because he's unfiltered because he didn't. This is like pure Donny, yeah. Good old back to Don. This is like Casino Don. You know what I mean?
The Don.
Yeah, he's his old fashioned Don, and he's just like, and you hear like the real thing, and like, he really believes it. I think he, and this is supposedly the things he didn't believe it, but now he believes his own lies. Yeah?
Andrew,
He believes he's Q. He believes he's Q. He believes he's.
What's your opinion on this, Rudy Giuliani? What's your middle class opinion?
Well, what do you mean? What's my middle class opinion on it?
Oh,
What do you
sorry,
mean?
did I say that out loud?
You
I
did.
do apologise. I didn't.
I don't know. What do you mean? What was my?
I don't know.
opinion
To
of
be
him?
honest, I was just trying to get you to see if your microphone was working. It was the nearest question.
No,
I had.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening. I'm just
Okay.
listening to Charles's wise
Eloquent,
word. No,
yeah.
it's sort of it reminds me of, because I don't want to keep using it's like Hitler, but it's just because
But
it's a
sort of
downfall of a regime. No, but we can't compare the most heinous. One of the most heinous people who's ever, one of the most evil people that's ever, you have to go back to medieval times before you get people of like Hitler and Stalin's level of just, I'll just slaughter everyone, I don't give a fuck level of evil. So the only reason I say this is because it's just such a well documented end of a regime. And let's call it that, is that, Hitler in the last days in the bunker was just, giving orders to these armies that didn't exist. He was saying, right, this army group will do this and that, and the generals going, it'll be fine. Yes.
But they were backing off for weeks before, like they saw again, sort of like what's happening now. They were making
Himmler tried
deals.
to cut I think it was Himmler.
There's a few of them tried to cut deals, didn't they?
Tried to cut a secret deal, with the Americans.
They all started throwing on nun outfits and heading into the forest.
Yeah,
Wasn't it Goering?
There's a few of them.
Yeah.
Don't touch that computer. You're banned.
He tried to reach the American lines, didn't he? And
a few of most of them did. Yeah.
Andrew, can you move your computer? Have you had a bad haircut day? Are you trying to hide?
No,
your
it's
hair?
only because it's the glare of that. This is a free podcast, ladies and gentlemen. It's because I've got that glare. So if I do-
haloed effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of Life of Brian effect there.
yeah, exactly.
But
for people,
but yeah, it feels like that scene in Downfall. The famous meme scene. You know what I mean? Where he's it's where he's
seen
moving all the bits around, and the Sixth Army's here, and they'll regroup. And he's just like, "Don't worry, we'll do this, and then we'll get the votes here, and then I'll be president again." It's just like, okay, no one's telling him, dude, it's lost. The battle's lost.
I'll tell you what, let's go with, just so it's not so Hitlery like comparison. Let's say Charles I of England, who towards the end of the war kept being like, no, it's all fine, and I'll get an army from Ireland, and I'll do this, and we're sending people to France. And it's like, you haven't got anyone left. You've got nothing. It's you and these five blokes in this room.
Exactly.
It's sort of whether it's anecdotal, but one of his, he was looking at this war map saying, we'll do this. And he says, you're holding a piece of wood, just like a little tiny block of wood with a flag indicating an army. Just think that's it. That's all you've got. So that was
I seen something a couple of weeks ago with Hitler thing, and it was just I just clicked on.
He's
it.
always in the news. Isn't he?
But
He's always
it
on
was just
telly,
I'd forgotten that in his last days he was basically throwing children in front of him. Do you know what I mean? He was getting 14-year-olds and he was giving them awards as well to sort of go and fight. And there was one who got the highest award. I think the kid was actually quite brave. He was trying to pull fully grown men out. He's like 14. He's pulling them off the battlefield, outside the city, and he gave him an award. And when he tracked him down, because he was like 80, and he still sort of believed in him. I thought, oh Jesus.
There was the kid. There was the kid who won the Iron Cross. And
Yeah,
there's
I think
that
it was
footage
a
of him
high.
giving it, and I think he blew up a couple of Russian tanks, like with a Panzerfaust, like with an RPG, And
But when you start throwing children into that's like, you couldn't give throwing kids into the only soldiers we've got, right? We'll bung them in front of us.
They were saying
anything,
like
anyone.
67-year-old dudes.
And then where do you go? You run into your bunker, bunker again, hide, and then kill yourself. So and then people go, bring up the Nazi flags, and you go, but you're who you sort of admire is the biggest coward ever.
It's like when you say you find it funny when hip hop people talk about being pimps, and you're like, what, you want to be a sex trafficker?
Traffic women.
It's something to be proud of.
Yeah, but like Hitler was quite clear that he didn't want Germany to survive beyond him. Basically, he just said we all need to, and they don't deserve.
Yeah, but it was all
because they failed.
He was saying he didn't like what was he used to say? He wasn't getting married because he was married to Germany. He goes, no, he had his bird on the side, or his cousin, whatever.
They did get married in the bunker
before they died. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was still with her, so that was rubbish. So you must. I mean, I suppose they just don't look these things up, so they don't know. But you go, well, you must know he's a bloody coward. But again, they don't care about Hitler.
Have you seen Downfall? Yeah. Have you seen Downfall?
No, I've heard the name. I don't know what it's for.
It's a German film, and it's literally the last 48 hours in the bunker, and it's really, really good. Really
Isn't
good
there
film.
something? I remember looking for it. It's where Germany won. There was some I don't know if it's a BBC thing or
there's been a few things of that. There's
Man in the High Castle was on Amazon.
Yeah.
On that, Amazon was on that.
Yeah, it's a Philip K. Dick story.
Yeah, there's a few. There's
it's not Hitler then. Or is it?
Well, it's in now. It's the idea that they've conquered America, and then is it set now? Is it set in the present time, or a few?
I think it's in the 50s or 60s, but they basically won the war, and Japan and I think that they're sort of America's being pressed from both sides.
Yeah, it's like Japan and Germany are kind of almost in a state of Cold War. You've got a tiny bit of America in the middle.
And is it a short?
Or
is it that full movie? Or is it a documentary?
It's a TV series, isn't it?
It's a series.
I've not watched it, to be honest.
I don't do series.
I watched the first episode. It was all right.
It's quite a common thing in sort of fiction of what if. I mean, there was a TV series, a British TV series, which I believe is based on a book, came out a couple of years ago.
It's on BBC or something.
Yeah, I've forgotten what it's called now, so it's not great. But I don't look anything up.
Did you ever watch? Did you ever watch the documentary about it's a British thing about the meat eaters in the future, where they look back on people that were eating meat?
Is it the? It's called Carnage.
It's Carnage something. Carnage something.
Yeah, I think it's just called Carnage.
Have you ever watched it?
Yeah, Simon Amstel. Yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah, it was alright. I was looking it up. I thought, shall I invest some time? Have a watch of this. Is it any good?
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
And what's the sort of overall plot? It is a documentary looking back.
So it's basically a documentary looking back on.
And it's on Netflix, isn't it, or is it on?
It's on iPlayer. It's on BBC iPlayer. It might be on Netflix.
Right. Yeah.
It might be on Netflix. I'm not sure, but it's certainly on BBC iPlayer, and it's kind of funny, but it's quite thought-provoking at the same time. Yeah, they have all these people looking back, very much pitying all the meat eaters, how wrong they were, and it's quite sad. And they have recreations. They have, the last generation of meat eaters now remembering what it was like. And there's sort of inserts of, this is an advert that was used to explain why this is an educational film that we use to explain why you like eating eggs isn't okay, because it's to do with the egg industry is to do with, I think it's that male chicks are killed. Yeah.
Was it an ethical reason then, or sort of environmental?
Both, really. I think it was more to do with an ethical kind of awakening. But
what's the ending result? Is there a balance that's made between? I think
no. It's just that veganism is the right course.
Oh, that's the narrative. That's okay.
Veganism is the rightism. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say it was a comedy?
No, it has comedic elements in it. So there's a musical about a cow wishing for its baby that's been taken away.
Oh, I was half in the boat then till you said that.
She's a dairy cow. But it's really funny. It's just a woman in a cow costume being like, he needs his mother's milk. Moo. It's really very... It kind of runs a fine line, but it's quite funny, but also quite horrifying, when it gets
so it's satirical. Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose that's probably the simplest way of putting it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you watch many documentaries, Charles?
I used to. My mate's super into documentaries, and he's always recommending like stuff. And unfortunately, it sounds really good, and I'm like, I should definitely watch that. But there's too much content.
Yeah.
I blame. There's too much content. Having said that, though, I watched WandaVision last night.
What's that?
Okay. Yeah.
That is the new Marvel TV series.
So Marvel, which ones are these now?
Comic book.
Hulk?
Yeah, Hulk and Captain America and Iron Man. It's Wanda Maximoff and Vision, who died 2 films ago.
Spoilers.
We did. I mean, that's he died about 2 or 3 years ago. And all of a sudden, they're in like a 50s black and white sitcom.
What?
And it's played super straight. It's played just like there's 2 episodes been released.
Sitcom. I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean by it's played as a sitcom. What do you mean?
It's like they're in a Dick Van Dyke. If they're in the Dick Van Dyke show,
you mean like an alternative universe? Like they've been sucked into an alternative universe? Have they ended up there?
I don't know. It hasn't explained it yet.
Are they all really now 10 years younger? Like have they gone for the sort of 18 to 25-year-old mark?
No, it's these two characters, and they are in a really cheesy, dated, late 50s sitcom. Yeah. Black and white, echoey mono sound, and it's really cheesy comedy and budget, and it only winks at the audience once or twice in 2 episodes.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, and it has an intro. It has an intro. One Division, and they had like little cheesy intro and stuff, and fake adverts.
Oh, that was what I was going to ask
It's
you.
really weird.
Fake
and
adverts.
Yeah, in it. Yeah.
But do they
And,
know they're in a weird place? Do they feel trapped?
Not
It's
really. They know there are a couple of bits where they're like, hang on, how did we get here?
That
How
seems
long
like
have
an
we
odd
been
script
married?
Turn. I don't understand what.
They're like, how long have we been married? And they're like, when they start to think about it, like the world gets a bit like,
Right. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
starts
yeah.
to-
Okay.
so they
right.
shake a bit. So you don't. It hasn't shown its hand yet, and I'm really interested to see where it
So
goes.
the film we was talking the other day. What was the samurai? Is it Samurai Cop?
Oh yeah,
Oh, I like it. Just makes me smile even when I think about it. It gives so much accidentally. It gives so much. So it might be. I put it on pot. I don't know because
Oh, it's genius. I love Samurai Cop.
it gives so much. It actually gives more than what my level is of a bad movie, which was always Hercules in New York. The problem is Hercules in New York has got some quite tender, sweet bits, so it takes it to another level. Whereas that is like. That's the definition of how to do a bad film. That's like we've gone out of ways to do a bad film. Everything's wrong. Everything at no point. And but you said you met the guy.
Oh no, I met the guy who did The Room.
Oh, Tommy
Oh, that was
Wiseau.
the other film you was telling me to watch. I forgot.
I
about
just
that. I forgot to look that up.
Yeah,
'Cause I was
hashtag
like,
humble
yeah.
brag.
No, well, he was just one of these meet and greet things. I went for a showing at the Prince Charles Theatre in Soho, and he was there, and I got him to sign. I got a T-shirt upstairs that he signed, and it was, I think it's my birthday actually, because my mate did a thing, and like he had a photo taken with him, and he did a video saying "Happy birthday, Charlie, be good."
Oh, that film, right? Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that
Guy.
that
Yeah.
that hurt to watch. I was so embarrassed. The other one, it was like they didn't. I don't know what the difference was. The American Samurai or Samurai Cop
Samurai Cop.
was bad in a different way. That actually hurt me. I don't think I could watch that. It was so. It felt like there was something. Oh no, but the other ones felt like there was something wrong with them as well. I don't know.
The room is technically is just on a technical level, just absolutely appalling and nonsensical. And I love
the
watching
acting,
it with
that
people
guy.
who've never watched it before and watching their reaction because they just go, "Wait, what? No, what's happening? What? Why? Why is this? Who's this person? Why is this
Who's
person
Lisa?
being introduced? Yeah, what's going on? Why are they suddenly wearing suits?"
I mean, you could almost have a T-shirt just saying "Lisa, you're tearing me apart," and everyone would know what that is.
See, that's the thing. I haven't seen it, and I know all these things. I know all these things like, "Oh, hi, Mark."
Yeah,
hi, Mark. I know that.
Anyway, how's your sex life?
Yeah, it's just so. I did not hit her. I did not.
I did
Oh,
not.
hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi.
That's beautiful.
You
That's
go. Is
beautiful.
this? Did the film skip? Where's the?
Now, if ever you want
the flower shop scene is
I've
genius
seen
because it's like
bits of that.
I have dissected that scene a lot because I'm like, is it backwards? Like, is because none of it makes any sense. It's like they took all the lines and then just put them anywhere, and like all the actions.
Well, you have
and
to
you're like,
rewind to see if you missed something. Hang on,
yeah, honestly, it's like it makes you. As someone else said this, they said watching it makes you forget how films should be structured and how normally structured. You're just like, what?
But the American Cop. I don't know.
Samurai
What,
Cop.
Samurai Cop. Yeah, it's just the wigs. See, the wigs coming.
It's so bad.
So what Theo's trying to say is that
It's
in
so
the film
bad.
Samurai Cop, in the midst of fight scenes, you can see the guy, the eponymous Samurai Cop, his wig come fully off, and then, for example, the person he'll be fighting with helps him put the wig back on.
Gerald Nakamura. There's a bit where he's fighting Gerald Nakamura. And there's a bit where he falls off. He sort of falls off. He gets him a headlock, falls off.
And he
He puts
holds
it
him
back
up.
on. Yeah.
But yeah, it was because he thought they'd finished filming. And then they called him back, but he'd shaved his hair and he had like a mullet. So but the wig just said they got on the pound store.
But it's a beautiful sort of ladies' wig as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not even like a long-haired man, because men and women's hair is different. It's
Yeah.
just, oh,
It's just
good.
so obvious. Every time they cut to it, you're just like, yep. And what I love is that they obviously didn't shoot like in the same scene, they obviously didn't shoot a lot of things in the same scene in the same location at the same time. Because sometimes they'll be like having a shootout in a room, and then they'll cut to like a one shot of like reverse shot or whatever of like a bad guy, and you're like, that's not the same room.
That's
and
completely different day,
shot,
different camera, different angle, lighting. Yeah.
And the coloured temperatures all over the place as well. Like
there's a thing made about the why did the guy choose to have so much space above their heads? Like that what was the
everything's
point of
framed wrong. Yeah, everything's framed utterly wrong. Yeah, so they're in the middle. They're in like the lower middle sort of part of the frame.
Do you think that wasn't filmed as like? Did they not know? Was that almost bordering on that could have been a comedy? Like a good director directed that as a comedy.
No, because he did a whole bunch of others. He did
right.
Killing American Style, Hollywood Cop. I think there's another one, Gypsy Cop or something.
Well, do you know what? You know the baddie in there that says, "I will come back and I will put that head on the."
I will place his head on that piano. Yeah.
I didn't know that was Maniac Cop. I knew
yes, Robert Sedar.
The jaw.
Yeah. How could you not recognise it?
Yeah, I couldn't place it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you was going to go to that, just shows if you say I'm going to Hollywood to become an actor, I'm like, mate, look at your face. That's not going to happen. And then he's in two great movies.
Oh, he's in like hundreds of B movies.
Right.
He's a B movie star. He was in another one of the director's films, previous film. I think he's in Killing American Style, and that's on Amazon. And again, he plays the bad guy in that. He plays like a ruthless bank robber. They kill so many people in that film, and it's wild. Yeah.
Who played? I'm not being facetious when I say this. Who played the guy in the Cher film Mask? Really touching film.
Oh, Eric Stoltz.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else did he do? Because I recognise.
He was originally going to be Martin McFly, and you can see.
Yes. There's a couple of shots. Yeah.
There's he was.
Hang on, what's his name? I'm going to Google it now.
Eric Stoltz. So Eric, and then Stoltz.
Just wondering how much makeup he had on. Eric.
A lot. STO.
No, but I didn't know if it was somebody that had like a.
No, he doesn't have the. He didn't have the condition. He doesn't have a. I know what you mean, because there's in the original Clash of the Titans, the actor whose name escapes me, and obviously my internet will drop if I look it up. But the actor who played Calibos.
The baddie, yeah,
he had a condition, yeah. So he had, I forget the name of the condition, and I'm not trying to make fun of it. This is actually what the condition is that you have, usually, again, you will have large hands, large feet, but also things like very pronounced cheekbones. So he had very jagged, they almost looked like
and
it
heavy set skull over the eyes.
Yeah, heavy.
Eric Stoltz, he played the Rocky Dennis.
I mean, he was in Pulp Fiction as well as the heroin dealer.
Yeah, he's got a small role in Jerry Maguire.
Heroin dealer. Who's the heroin?
In the with the long hair, the one who shows Vincent Vega how to do the
adrenaline shots. Yeah.
I can't remember a lot of that film. Memorable. I can't remember. That was the Bruce Willis, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And John Travolta.
Part of it, yeah.
Oh, I was listening to an autobiography, and who was it? So it was my December change your life things. I thought, right, I've got to do something because I'm always doing stuff. Let me think of something I haven't done for a while. So I thought, let me listen to some random audiobooks. That was my just watch stuff. Oh god, there's so much that I've been doing. So, but anyway, so one of them was oh god, who was it? Bernie Mac, Madonna, Kenneth Williams. And Demi Moore that popped up. I thought, so let me just bang it on. It's from a time where it's just the 80s, where before social media come in, where you're going to get real stories. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, now, I mean, so yeah.
So now it's just all PR'd. You can't.
It's all written by.
Yeah, I think the last ones are the 80s. After that, and that's the 60s are the best ones because nobody cared then. But yeah, she was talking about how they got together and all this, and how he was quite But it was just. From listening to the Madonna one and then her one, it was like I wasn't expecting the cliche of hollow celebrities jumping from marriage to marriage, and you sort of go, "Oh God, they weren't." You don't want to believe it's that because you think no, people are always more than that. But when it was her, and then oh God, the two of them, what's his name turned up in both of the audiobooks. Who was Madonna married to?
Sean Penn.
Yeah, which I knew I didn't like him. And when I listened to the Madonna one, I thought, oh, he's your typical rich, spoilt child who just thumping people and getting people paid off. Just a petulant child, a little abusive to her, calling her this and that. Part of that sort of Rat Packy. They thought they were the Rat Pack. It wasn't like people named them the Rat Pack, but him and some of the other actors of that time when they were young playing
the
up
Brat
to
Pack,
the Brat, but playing up to it, and he was like a spoilt rich kid. He was just like, he was like a toddler. But then he popped up in Demi Moore's one as well because he knew Bruce Willis. So that had him and then Bruce Willis and then the other fella and Madonna, and you go, oh, they were just literally, I just want to be famous, like saying I just want to be famous. But they were quite. The Madonna one was like, just I felt bad for her in the end. Not bad because she hadn't learned anything. It was one of those things where after listening to the whole thing, I just thought she's learned nothing. There's no arc here. It's just even into her 50s. She's still acting like she was when she was 20, just that insecure, that sort of thing.
It's because there's no fall down, there's no fall, is there? What's her?
Yeah, and it's bouncing from one problem caused by you onto the next problem caused by you.
But what I mean is, there was maybe a brief lull, I think, mid-90s, wasn't there? There was, I seem to recall, because that song she did, Frozen, was a big, was seen as a comeback song. But I mean, what we're talking a couple of years, so she's not had the I've lost everything, I'm back from zero.
But that's the thing. But it was she kept treating people badly all the way through, hurting people that are nice, saying all I want is love, getting it, treating him badly, and it was. And then because it must have been written like a while ago, because at the end is where she's sort of her new excuse of reinventing herself. She's always sort of bouncing, well, I've got that. Okay, well, I didn't want that. What I want is that. Oh, I got that. Okay, well, what I want is that. That sort of thing. But she's just trying to feed the new. She's always trying to be current. But it was a level of self-delusion. But then when you get to sort of 40, and then it was like she was, now at the end, she's marrying Guy Ritchie, and they're going to Scotland or wherever it was. And she's talking like they're trying to end it on a high of like, oh, she needed to get away from America. That was the thing. But it was just one excuse after another throughout the life. Different types of people. Shouldn't be with him. Shouldn't be with him. Shouldn't be. No, it's you. And then she's going. I get in England and away from the paparazzi and the relaxed atmosphere, and it's just a castle. It's not all the big Hollywood. And then I remember her saying to him why they broke up, because he's emotionally retarded. As they're sort of playing up at the end of the book, they're talking about the fact she's found this guy, but I'm thinking about news reports when they broke up, and she's calling him emotionally retarded. Yeah. And then she's like, and then she ended up saying like, I don't like England, and then she went back to America. So when it ended and they're building up to like she's going to be happy, and they're talking to people and know I've never known her this happy, and they go, no, she calls him emotionally retarded, and they break up. And but Demi Moore was the same one. Just there was one thing I felt bad with Demi Moore. She was 15, and her mum was like a proper. Madonna had the opposite thing. Madonna pretended to have a bad life. She went to a private school. Like she had everything she wanted, and she chose to just go off and be a rebel. She made up a lot of stuff. In the book, they're saying that, she said she came to America, she only had $30, she arrived in New York with a suitcase, and the people going, no.
Madonna, I thought she was born in America, wasn't she?
Sorry, New York. She arrived in New York. She's from some small town. She went to like a posh school.
I was imagining her much older than she is, like arriving on Ellis Island as a lost urchin, like she's Vito calling her.
And your new name is Madonna. Do I get a surname?
Madonna's
no, you're poor, just Italy. Madonna.
Yeah. And she was saying how she arrived. Her big story is how she arrived in New York with one suitcase, and her mate was like, "No, she was living there a year before, and she had loads of money. I saw it in the cupboard." And you go, "Oh, okay." And she was quite out and out saying, "Like, no, I just want to be famous." That's why she started dancing, and the dancing failed. She couldn't stick with it. It was too much hassle for her. And then she went to do the modelling. She didn't like that. And then she went on to the other thing. She just ended up. She just wanted to be famous. She said, a friend said, I remember her crying on the floor, just rolling about saying, I just want to be famous. I just want to be famous. Like that. But they say she's out and out. She's always saying, I want to be famous. I just want to be famous. What was I going to say? So her thing was like a lot of crap. It was just a lot of, I don't know what I want. Okay, I'll need somebody to love me. Get somebody to love me. Cheat on him. Okay, it was the wrong type of person. Somebody outside the industry. Go with him. Oh, I found love. It was amazing. Okay, I cheated on him. Oh, okay, I found my bodyguard. You know, he looked after me and all these times. Okay, got with him. Okay, went back, cheated with my ex-boyfriend. And yeah, but it just you can't keep making excuses the whole way through. But it's just quite sad. But her story is mostly made up. All the strong woman and all that. If you think what you think of Madonna, this creative, this strong woman, you go literally into her 40s. She was still riddled by insecurity, and it was always chasing some bloke. So it was all crap, all this strong woman. She's the opposite of a strong woman. It was just all PR. And the Demi Moore thing, her mum was like a serious alcoholic. The dad was a serious alcoholic, like all through their lives. Like right up until the mum died, she was still an alcoholic, causing her. She was like piggybacking off her success. Like she'd done some quite iconic photography, Demi Moore, and her mum was doing it as well. Like to just make money off the back of her, like everything she did it. They went to her. That they were selling her. The mum was selling photographs of her as a kid to all that. But a serious alcoholic. The mum hated her. And when she said I was 15, and this older guy, she just started meeting him, and he was like 30. And then he started picking her up from school. She thought, it's quite cool being picked up from school. Then he was sort of like they were going to a restaurant after school. And then he wouldn't leave her alone, and she was starting to make excuses and leaving school early. And then she says, one day, I went home, and I went in the house, and he was in the house. And he said, like, where's my mum? What's going on here? And he said, and he raped me. He raped me. And he said, so a few weeks passed, then they're moving home, and this guy turns up to help them move the house. And the mum and the dad, the mum and her are talking. The mum and the fellow are talking. She said, I'm like frozen in the back of the car, like thinking, what the hell? And then they go, and the mum goes in and drops some stuff inside. And he turns around and says to her, how does it feel to be pimped out for your mum for 500 quid? So the mum had given her, the guy, the keys to get in the house for it was. But the mum throughout, she said, all through the success going into the actor, all the years after she died, like 20 years after that, the mum was just causing her grief. And I was thinking, why do you put up with it? She kept saying, there was one point just before she died of cancer, she said, now I've had kids, I can't have this woman in my life. I've given her a house, she's selling stories. I ask her not to, she doesn't care, she does it anyway. She's still knocking around with blokes like she's a kid. And she said, like, even when as she's dying, I'll go and see her and try and ask for some closure on her and all that. And she said, the best I ever got about it, she said, I wish things were different. That was it. But the whole life was just causing her grief. But I thought, okay, so she had a bad life, but she had heavy drug problems. She was put into AA for like cocaine rehabilitation and all that. But she was another one that was just sort of jumping around from like a bloke, and then this got that bloke, and then she cheated on her husband the first time they got married. She cheated on him the night before they got married. That sort of level where you go, there's no redeeming features for you here. I mean, well done for admitting it.
But I was going to say, typically with these sort of scumbag people, and
what do you really think, though, Charles? What do you really think?
No, but people who sort of people who behave poorly, and you sort of see them and you think, oh, that person's not a very nice person, has obvious moral deficiencies. Like particularly a lot of reality people and celebrities who are famous for being celebrities. If you ever want to feel sorry for them, find out who their parents are and what they've got up to. And you're like, oh, I can see why you're like this.
I mean, in the Demi Moore book, she literally said like stuff with like the food addiction and different things. She was battling food, but it was just her mum just caught, and the fellas that her mum hang out with. She said she would take me to a bar just so sort of blokes would sort of chat us up, just so she could get somebody. And she's a kid, but the mum sort of like. No, didn't change at all from like being a horrendous person with a kid right up to death. Same thing the whole way through. And then she's sort of chasing behind her, trying to not be her, but trying to figure out who she is, but bouncing around from guy to guy and cheating on him. And you go, oh, I don't know. It's just this desperate. Like it was a cliche of like, just desperate. But I mean, who was the other one? Oh God, she was really messed up. It was the American loudmouth interviewee, Ruby Wax. That was it.
Okay.
Who sort of like was like, no, I'm completely effed up. I'm completely effed up, and rehab throughout the thing and therapy. And you go, oh, I don't know what I'm learning here. It is becoming like a cocoon, like Hollywood, a cocoon of just people that are just going to be laughed at. Like you're all messed up. Like it's this. I can't feel this void inside me, so I'm just gonna. But everyone's sort of doing it to everyone else. So like when Madonna was with like Sean Penn, and he was slapping her about, and at one point he tied her up and sat on top of her for 2 hours, and she just sat there, and then he'd be phoning her, "Where are you? Who are you talking to?" Yeah, he was like a kid, a spoilt kid, and they were married. And you go, they're just broken human beings, just desperate to be seen. It's not ambition. It's just trying to fill a void that they can't fill. That's what the non-stop thing is. I can't fill that void.
It's a weird thing to want to be an actor, I think.
I need to be looked at. It's that thing of not being looked at. And even though you've been looked at all your life and you are world famous, they want to reinvent themselves because they have to be seen as world famous all the time. But then constantly complaining like that people follow me around. So it's that weird, like...
I think the thing is that I think I can understand wanting to be an actor, being famous, just wanting to be papped all the time and whatnot. Yeah. I find that very strange.
Well, that was the thing. A lot of them didn't. I mean, Demi Moore wanted to be a model, but it fell on her lap, and then she got offered acting. Madonna didn't know what the hell she wanted to be. She wanted to be a singer. Then she wanted to be in a band, but she wanted to be a dancer, but a failed dancer. She said there was one point where she started doing ballet, and then she said, "Oh, my back's hurting all the time." And she said, "Yeah." The teacher said to me, "Yeah, that everyone's back hurts." And then she sort of thought, "I'll knock that on the head." And then joined the band, and then she joined it with some guy. Then she broke off from the band and started another band. And then because when she became a singer, she said that wasn't enough because now she was just seen as a singer. Oh, let me try acting. And you go, oh, at no point is there any sort of like, it's just a desperate person. I've listened to this whole thing, like just a desperate, but you didn't want to do anything. The only one when I listened to the Kenneth Williams one was quite good. That was probably the best one because it really was. There was no social media cameras. There was none of that back then. So it was more focused on his story of a person wanting to be an actor. But from his background as well.
He was quite candid as well, wasn't he? Really?
Yeah.
You know what I mean about
well, I mean, he was so funny that the way he would say, because he's from a real working class background, but he was seen as this sort of patrician, so like lorded up. He said he would his dad would like 80 queers, 80 this, puffers and this. And I mean, he's a hairdresser, but he said, I used to wind my dad up. He said like, "Hello, father, hello." And he goes, "Hello, what's hello? That's just a noise. What's hello?" So I come in, "Hello." And he said, he was out, like saying, "I'm trying to be a posh person." When he went into the army, he was trying to act like the officers rather than the thing. But that was, I think I said before, when I listened to that, it was depressing because when I listened to it, and that was from the 70s, I think that came out, it was, you'd forgotten those just characters without cameras following them around. You just heard a life story.
Yeah.
And through it, you're sort of listening to it through the lens of all the sort of cultural changes that we've had now, where you can't do this and you can't say it. Which sounds over the top. I'm not talking about the extremes. I'm just talking about the little things that you don't notice until you go back to the 60s. And everyone was offending everybody in the local locker rooms. The women were having a go at the gay guys, calling them this, and they were having a go at the women, and she would sleep with them, and And you go, oh yeah, you can't do any of that now. That's all gone. But you got to hear it being played out before you go. He's not being ironic. He's not saying that from the perspective of 2020. You go, oh, but that's all gone. All those characters and people being themselves. Now, the second you're famous, you've got the PR person, you've got the marketing person, and now you're a product inside of that, which you were before. Let's not, MGM and all that. But now it's like it really is rammed down that you can't have any personality, you can't have any opinions. And what I did, I was also...
Bless you, Charles.
I went back and I was listening to some of the interviews with Michael Parkinson, from when he's interviewing like Fred Astaire and all these people. Most of the people I didn't even know who they were, like a scientist or whatever. And again, it's one of those things. I feel like one of the biggest secrets I've learned is to go and listen to people, the boring people, the people you don't heard of. Somebody's an architect from the 50s, just a gardener from the 60s. You just go, and the things you learn from going back far enough. And the Michael Parkinson's ones, which you can watch on YouTube, a lot of them, I don't know who they are. So I think, right, let me watch this. I don't know who it is. And my God, like, they're not all comedians. Do you know what I mean? They're not all playing up to the character. Some of them look like shit. They haven't ironed the shirt. Do you know what I mean? They're all smoking cigarettes, obviously.
But that was the 70s. I mean, most people look like crap.
Yeah, but it was... you watch and you hear, like, pauses. And I realised... One of the things I suddenly realised was, hang on, the last 6 of these interviews, 5 of them have had grey hair, just old guys, ruffled. And I thought, wow, you wouldn't. I just noticed it suddenly. Oh, they've all had grey hair, like they're all old people. And then there was one, I think it was a physicist or something like that. And they're talking about you're a high intellectual and people love the way you think and all this sort of thing. Never heard of him before. And he's asking him stuff. And it's like those people have only interested lives because they come on about this, but they end up telling you about their parents. And so you're going way back. And there's moments in it where he's asking them a question and the guy's going, And then it's just silence as he's thinking for 6 or 7 seconds. You go, oh, that's an adult having a reasoned thought before he answers something. It's not, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That noise. It was like mostly, and I'm not talking about just that one bit. I'm not even just talking about that one bloke. There was times when he's asking people stuff and they stop and they think. And it's, and there was one bit actually, and that guy, and he was talking about he was Jewish and he went back to, or was he? Yeah, he was Jewish and he went back to visit Auschwitz and all that sort. And he said, I didn't want to. And we was going to do a TV program. He said, to be honest, I was going to try and rush it. He said, but when I was there, it sort of pulled me in. And there was one bit, and I'm telling you, it had like a 10-second pause of nothing. They didn't cut away. It was just sat on him. And he's saying, and I went about this and I saw that, you've got collections of teeth and you've got collections of like wooden legs. There's rooms full of wooden legs and hair piled up and they've left it there. And he said the wonder, he said it was only small, but he said there was one part where the Germans had taken photographs of everyone that was coming through. And he said, the saddest thing, and then there's a pause that just went on forever that you would never allow now. You'd have 7 cameras flicking backwards and forwards to the crew, to his expression that you're looking at the crowd, and it wasn't. It just was on him. And he said, then he came back and he said the saddest thing was, he said, I don't know what it means, but in the photographs they're all crying, which is a strange thing to see in a photograph. You don't think, oh yeah, of course, but to see people crying in a photograph like that just added something else to it. But listening to that, I thought that was what an interview was.
Yeah.
Or again, I'm not talking about one bloke. I'm talking about loads of them, where you had somebody on that had lived a life, grey hair, God forbid, on TV, someone that's over 40, and you're asking them questions about their life and allowing them to answer with thought. Not, well, speed him up, let's go. Do you know all that crap? But you can't do. But you go, I don't know when it stopped doing that. I don't know when did it become about the clicks? When did it become about, I've said before about, comedies and things. It's not, you're not focused on the script anymore. You're focused on, well, the scripts are all crap. So what we now do is we have editors that just keep editing, edit the shit out of it, keep the camera moving, keep flicking back between the screens. You go, when do people have the confidence to just allow things to play out and just film around people? Or is it that we don't leave lives anymore? We have to do that because we don't live lives anymore. We don't have introspection. We don't have straight. We don't think. We don't have deep thought. You go, no, come on, speak, talk, tell us something new, be funny, do something, act like, give us a clip that we can edit. You know what I mean? Give us something
do some
we can
lip syncing.
Yeah, pop something that we need everything.
Juggle.
But between that and the autobiographies and the thing. And I just thought, oh, God, yeah, it was one of those times again where I thought, oh, right, if you look back far enough, if you go back over that 40-year mark, just get back over there, forget the millennium and all that, you've got to go further back. Oh, that's when people were interesting. That's when things were interesting. But then... go on.
No, that's okay.
I was going to say, I was thinking, because I always try to make excuses against any opinions I have, and I thought, right, let's just take Michael Parkinson, and you go, right, we're going to do it again today. So you take the people that filmed it, it's all nice and his thing and blah, 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 and do it today. You go, but then who would you speak to? Because it's the people. We're not living that type of life, and there's no secrecy. There's no depth of thought. Nobody's saying, I grew up and my parents went to Auschwitz. You go, the stories aren't there anymore because it's slowly, everyone's become amalgamated into one type of person. You're not allowed to offend anybody. Anybody that is famous is just famous for the acting of it, but there was no struggle behind because they were kids, and then the money came into it, and you go, there just aren't the stories anymore. It's not the fault of the editors and the TV programs. There's no stories there anymore. They're not having 60, 70-year-olds talk about their life, or maybe it's all been played out. So you've heard about everything. Every article has been written about everybody in the 50 celebrity magazines. So there's no story where you'd have somebody on and go, right, talk to us about who you are. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's for sale and everything has been for sale. So maybe there aren't the people to have the stories anymore. That's the only thing I could think.
Well, I was going to say that I've been watching a lot of daytime TV recently because I've been working from home, and like on this morning with Phil and Holly, lovely daytime magazine show, where they interview celebrities and talk about what's happening in the world. Very, very bland. Good to have it on the background when you're doing stuff. Yeah, they have their like weirdo slot, where they get someone on who's
Is that what it's officially called?
Well, I call it the weirdo slot.
It's not a TV program. It's just it's noise to let you know you're not on your own. That's
yeah. It's literally background. Yeah, it's just background to talk the gun out of your mouth. Yeah, it keeps me. I don't have to concentrate. I don't have to concentrate when I'm doing work and stuff. So it's fine. So that goes on the background, and they have the weirdo slot, which I do listen to. And they used to get people on. Like I remember years ago, they used to get people on. They're like, "Oh, I like trains," or like. I got, or I collect weird types of bamboo. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, I don't know, I live in a hippie commune. And you're like, okay, yeah, weird, interesting people doing their thing and not caring. Nowadays, everyone's trying to plug their YouTube channel, and everyone's trying to plug their Instagram. They had people on someone on the other day whose dog was ugly. They had an ugly dog. The jaw was all messed up and the bottom teeth were out. Oh. It was a poor dog, but he was fine, happy, and he had a loving family. Dog's getting on. I noticed that when they were interviewing them, they all had printed T-shirts, merch with like the YouTube address and their Instagram followers on Instagram. Like all the kids and everyone had them, and I was like, yeah, this has just become a slot, just to literally plug your thing. Plus the quirky stories at the end of the news do that now, And here's a lighter story, yeah. Like they had one the other day about some dude singing sea shanties on TikTok.
Oh, TikTok.
And the only reason they were getting him on, basically, he was just plugging his TikTok channel. And I'm like,
do you think? I mean, if I said to you now, I was going to bring Parkinson back, we can have 3 people on. It's an hour program, and he's going to talk to them for 45 minutes each, or however long. Who would you have on there? Like that, you'd go, right, that would be interesting.
David,
not
Attenborough.
Entertaining. Yeah, I mean, I think how old is he now? Do you know what I mean? And
90
something. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to have old people. I'd be quite interested to know more about Richard Osman.
Who's he?
He's the Pointless guy.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, the tall dude.
Yeah.
He's quite funny as well.
Yeah, he's very.
But see, you're going for the entertaining. There's not going to be a lot of depth.
No, but I think he's going. No, he's got massive.
He's a clever guy.
Yeah, he's.
But again,
clever.
see, that's what I mean. You're going for the entertainment thing. There's no who's got a story behind them. Who's like something?
That's what you'd find out.
No, but
that's why I'd want him to have him on,
it.
because I don't know anything about it.
It would be, my mother was an English teacher and my father was a thing, and he's the gardening business. And
yeah, you want someone who was like, from the age of 5, I was knife fighting with giant rats in an alley.
Dragging coal up of mine.
The Wheel of Torment. I spent 15 years on the Wheel of Torment.
Just somebody that isn't worried about the bloody PR.
Well, in that case, just have what's his face, Tyson Fury. He'll just say whatever.
Yeah,
you might
have
get into
be able
freak
to
show
show
territory there. That's, I mean, when he was dressing up as Batman and all that, and you go, okay, so in his sort of child's mind, he's trying to go, oh, look at me, I'll be a showman. You go, no, mate, that's not a showman. I know what you're trying to do, but that's really, you need somebody to direct you. That's not what you do, because you make yourself look bad. But when he's doing that, you go, that is mental health. Now, the fact that he came out
and said,
with mental health problems, but nobody's going, right, he's got mental health problems. Like, that's not normal for a heavyweight boxer to be running in, wearing all that Batman stuff and then running out again. That's not you need help, mate. That's not you're not a showman. You're embarrassing it. That's freak show stuff. That's the difference. It's not a showman. That's freak show. You've turned yourself into a freak show, which is what everything is now. Everything is, how freaky can I be? It's sort of like a dulled down version of the Colosseum. Like, how extreme can we get? It doesn't matter that you're embarrassing yourself or making a fool of yourself. It's just, am I being looked at? So
It
forget.
gets clicks though. It does get clicks. I watch.
But that's what I mean. But the clicks is
yeah.
you sell everything's for sale. Everything's for sale. But
Everything's been monetized. That's what I was trying to say with the freak show bit on the daytime TV. Everyone's trying to monetize their thing. This is my little niche thing, and I'm going to try and monetize it. I'm going to try and get some money out of it.
With everyone being the celebrity, that's the thing, isn't it? It's everyone's got their own channel. The world is me. I remember there was I was reading something. It was a woman who I think she'd killed herself, but she was like doing self-improvement. She'd written like 13 self-improvement books and ended up killing herself. And there was a video YouTube thing, but you're watching people on the YouTube channels, and it's like they're just in their room. I mean, it's come down just to that. It's me staring at a camera, and all you're watching play out, all you're watching play out is them in their bedroom.
There's some glass houses here. Yeah, watch.
No, because this is we're actually taught with discussion. This is but it's people that just go. They're just in their bedroom, and you can see their sort of neuroses playing out, and you know that if you're just all they care about is that camera focused on them. There's no outside life. Nothing matters outside. All that I care about is my followers and my TikToks and my thing. But when you're watching them, something you go. You know that person's got mental health problems because they're so extreme, they're so sort of stupid and get everything quickly edited. And how much time have you just sat in this bedroom editing things like this? And their social skills will have dropped off, which means all their life is completely absorbed in this one channel, but their world is just going down to just this one stream. And that's where you get these, what they call we spoke about it before, the ikikomoris, you know, the people in, is it China or Japan? Japan, I think it is. Yeah. Where they now just live in their rooms and they're connected to the internet, and that is it. And as I've said before, what I found out years ago is your social skills drop off. You are you because you're held in by your experiences that have to be topped up. And when you take that away, and so you get these freak show people that are in the little YouTube channels, and that's all they do. That's all their money is tied up in it. Everything's tied up in them being on a YouTube channel all day. And you go, there's a massive mental health problem coming now because this is the people first doing it. We haven't got the backlash of when they're 50 and nobody cares anymore, and all these people their whole life has just been being stared at by a screen, and now nobody's looking at that screen anymore because you're over 40 or whatever. But yeah, I saw one the other day. It wasn't like particularly extreme, but I just thought that person's got mental health problems, and it's fairly indicative of a lot of these people that just have their YouTube channel and that's all they do. I was going to say shout out to a camera.
Hey guys, like, share and subscribe.
Yeah. And what's all the hey guys? When did that become I watched for cadences, like hey guys is one thing. Politicians, I've noticed over the last few years, I can't remember the last ones were, every 5 years their openings change, and the recent one is look. They never used to say look. And it's like, I started to go, right, I can't remember what the last ones were, but every 5 years they start the sentence with a different thing. And this recent one now is look. And I noticed it went from England to America. Again, so I'm watching these things. So they also, so tell us about the thing, and, you know, the money went missing, and they go, look. And it's like, but surely somebody's told you to say, because they're all doing it. So, but you can't start a sentence with the word look, because what that says is, if I can't say to you, what's 2 add 2? And you go, look. And you go, no, right, you're not going to answer me, are you? You're not. So the people died and the bomb went off. Look. No. I'll ask you a question.
This is Matt Hancock on Good Morning Britain, where he was saying, it's great that we've got this free food scheme, but it's a shame, you know, because there was this scandal that it was meant to be £30 and that it was, and it was a pathetic amount of food. It was 4, 5, initially it was like, this is meant to last couple of weeks, and they're like, no, it's meant to last 5 days. And you look at it and you go, that's still not enough for 5 days. It was like a loaf of bread, a block of cheese,
potato.
like a small 2 moldy potatoes, 2 carrots. There were a couple of like little those yogurt tubes, a tin of beans. So a tin of beans. You go, well, they're a pasta without anything to go on it. A tomato,
loose pasta.
Yeah, in
like
some
loose
pictures,
pasta.
In
but
some
they'll
pictures,
they'll be looking at the serving suggestions. That tin of beans will say like serves 4, and the government go, well, it says serves 4.
That'll be. But it was stuff like, people getting these parcels, and sometimes it was like the tomato was cut in half, and you go, imagine being that person who fucking cuts a tomato. Anyhow, so Matt Hancock was on, saying, it's really bad. It's great. We've got this good. And Piers Morgan was going, well, if it's so great, why did you keep voting against it in the Commons? Well, it's great that we've got it. He goes, yeah. It is, but why did you vote for it to not happen in the first place? Well, look, it's great that we've got, and it just kept going round and round and round, and
But
you
they're
just
this obfuscating, like not answering anything. Look, well, watch it now. Anytime you hear a politician talk, they ask him a question, and you'll hear the word "look." But you go, is that just like a social media? Have you all just heard that, or is it just? It's like it's just spread, and you've realised, oh, it's a good way of not answering something. Is to start with again. What's 2 add 2? You wouldn't go look. You go, no, I just asked you a question. So they don't answer nothing.
I heard the Prime Minister literally, like, he was doing a press conference about Corona, one of the daily briefings, and he said, they said, okay, I forget what it was. Oh, yeah. How are you, a vaccination. How are you going to, that was it. They said that some survey, 9 out of 10 people still don't really get that being in a confined space is a very dodgy and a very high risk factor, in spreading the disease. How are you going to educate people and spread this message more? And he's like, I get what you're saying, and what you're really talking about is vaccination rates. So no, the vaccination rates are really good, and we're doing a really good job. And the guy was just like, I was like, I hope he asked a follow-up question, the same question, and they didn't let him. They didn't let him back with another one.
There was I listened to one of these audiobooks was James O'Brien, I think it is. He's a radio presenter in London.
LBC is very
what was
guy. I listened to him quite a bit actually.
It's called How Not to Be Right in a World Gone Wrong. No, he's done 2. How to be right in a world gone wrong, and how to be wrong. Something he's done, like one that's back. He pointed out times where he didn't have an answer for things and how he had to reevaluate, because he's in a lot of therapy. He went to a lot of therapy, and it's to him about It's quite childish. I was surprised how childish the psychology was. The therapy he went to. I didn't realise it was that base. I thought, because he sounds like a smart guy, but it's very basic stuff. But he talks about when he spoke to Nigel Farage, who's, I don't know how you explain him quickly to people who don't know who Nigel Farage is. He's a sort of right-wing politician who's slightly racist.
Slightly. I would say a populist politician, Eurosceptic.
And he says, he said when he came on, he wasn't expecting that. He thought he'd just come on, sort of batter me again, but he came on, and then he was talking about the people, and he said it was specifically. He said he was offended because he was on a train and he heard people speaking a foreign language, and then he got into it and he said, "Isn't your wife German?" And he went, yeah. And he goes, doesn't she speak?
And you speak German at home, yes.
Yeah, he said, well, surely she speaks German, and her kids speak German. But yes, well, don't they speak German when they're out? And we go, well, probably not. He goes, well, why would you think that? And then he says, so what's the difference? He goes, so you wouldn't mind, you say you had a problem living next to a group of Romanian guys, and he goes, okay, so you wouldn't have a problem living next to a German woman? And he went through it. He said, this is when I realised he'd messed up. He said, yeah, but you know the difference. He go, you know the difference. Yeah. And he went, no, sorry, I don't. Yeah. And he go, oh, right. He said, yeah, look, you know the difference. He go, no, I don't. She doesn't speak English. And he realised that, I've cornered myself here.
I've seen that interview, and basically he sort of he reaches over the desk, straddles him, and verbally bashes him in the face, Nigel Farage in the face for about 10, 15
Well, when you hear somebody off camera going, the interview was scheduled for 15, but you go, oh, right, lovely. This is anything that I'm winning now. Thank you for coming in. Yeah. But yeah, he was talking about that. What else? There was something interesting. It wasn't a very long book. It was only about 4 hours because it was more about the subject matter of arguments.
There was another one as well. Nick Ferrara, I think, interviewed on LBC again, Boris, I think it was. And he started off with, so, how many children do you have? This is when he's like, I don't. He goes, okay, we'll come back to that. And then he kept on asking him every couple of questions. So, you ready? You remember how many children you have?
Oh, right. I see,
he's like, something in Greek.
As Marcus Aurelius would say.
If you get him, sort of corner him and he starts to panic, he reverts to his base level of sort of stuttering. Maximus Victorius idiom.
This guy's got nothing. There's no substance. You know what I mean? He has no answers to these. Same thing with Rees-Mogg as well. Jacob Rees-Mogg, another UK politician. Yeah. When they actually hear him discuss policy, I remember he was cornered once about education, and they actually had to talk about the education policy. He didn't have a clue what he was talking about. Yeah. And they were like, okay, yeah, okay, cool. Latin quote's fine.
Yeah.
What about the education part? And he was like utterly floundering. It was really fun to watch.
But he's a caricature of like really should never have had any power. Just a rich bloke, very rich bloke, telling people how they should live their lives on nothing. Do you know what I mean? Just one of these disgusting human beings. I watched him when they had a thing about him and he was doing, what do they call it when instead of you tread water time-wise in the House of Commons, there's a word for it, you do something. Filibustering. And they're all trying to get a thing pushed in before that, and he's just talking nonsense. You go, that really is criminal. Do you know, you're supposed to be there to serve it, and you're just playing games with human being lives. But they've reached that level, like the Americans, a lot of them, where they've just been doing something for so long that they're now no longer sensible people. They've now lost touch completely. This thing of serving people, that's in the background. That has to be attended to every now and again to keep your job. But it's actually more about you and your money and your own sort of proclivities for power and what you feel.
I was raised Catholic, and we have a thing called the servant's heart.
What's that?
Have you seen Arnold Schwarzenegger and his little speech he gave about the incident on the 6th? So we don't know.
No, what was this? No, why?
He gave
I did see the thing on Twitter, wasn't it?
So he's come and said something about the riot thing.
Yes,
The assault.
about, and honestly, it was very corny and very cheesy.
It had its own music, didn't it? It had its own score.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Weeping musical
It didn't
score.
need it. It didn't need it because what he said, I would honestly recommend watching it. You type in Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think
It was quite well done, yeah.
Honestly, and you're like, he was like, and it was like, hey, we're better than this. Well, are you? But like, it was all lip service. But as I said, sometimes it's nice to hear it. It's nice to hear the lip service. And at the very end, he goes, he picks up a sword, goes, this sword is the Conan sword.
Oh, no.
Like, talks about how American democracy was forged in the heat of the fire.
Yeah, but everyone under 30 is going, who's it? What is he talking about? No, it was a film.
Yeah, but then they should go watch Conan because it's awesome.
But to have a score, I mean, was it directed by James Cameron, this Periscope video?
But no, it wasn't. He talks about, I mean, he's quite open. He compares the thing on the 6th to Kristallnacht. He talks about his father, who was a Nazi police officer, his party member police officer, and how he would beat them and stuff, and the fallout of knowing people who were in the regime when he, because he was born in 47 in Austria, so people around him, the older people, they were involved, they knew stuff, and it was all the the evil and the science of good men. You know what I mean? So it's very cheesy, very corny, but I was like, he's got my vote.
We'll take anything. Take anything. Yeah, any sort.
We'll take anything now. Yes.
But then I remember when he took over The Apprentice after Donald Trump, and he said a lot of nice things about him then. So it's this thing of like somebody just having a life opinion and stick with it. All this jumping around, and now people are saying stuff. It was like when what was it when all the actors started saying, if Trump gets in, I'm going to leave America. So somebody printed out all the people that said blah blah. I think 2 did out like 12, and the rest of them no, still there. And you go, just somebody stand for something. Just come on. Your agent and your PR man aren't more important than your dignity, but actually they are. So it's like,
but I hear that every election. I hear that in this country. If Labour get in, if the Tories get in, I'm going to move to Spain. It's just like, all right then.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, it's like Trump. I mean, it is now. I heard him talk. I can't even hear his voice. It's like somebody going, meh. You go, just stop. But it's just noise. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say you're going to do. Don't care what you say. Anything. You're just making noise now. Just go away. Because you say one thing, then you say another. You don't know what you're bloody saying. If you are saying anything in your head, just reading the bloody script. I did see it. There was a Fox News. Who's on Fox News? Give me not Sean Hannity, the other one.
Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. And you go, I was watching it, and he's clearly reading from a script. I mean, not even in a good way. You think he'd be quite experienced in it. And he's doing all this weird frowning and, I can't.
He does this expression. When anyone talks to him, he goes,
yeah, but yeah, he's got like, that weird, like, but when he's talking,
kind of like, what, even when they're saying something perfectly normal, a triangle is a shape with 3 sides. Yeah. And he's going, like utterly like kind of
maybe that is news to him.
He just looks so confused.
Yeah, but
like
the way he reads a script is how an adult would talk to a child. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, I would do and I can't believe this thing. And you go, he does.
And they couldn't put him back together again.
Yeah. Oh, I think like a. Do you know what I mean? It's like it is that where he's like It's like somebody's really bad at acting. You go, oh, he doesn't realise he's bad at acting, but so he's saying the words and making these weird eye movements, and I just can't believe this thing. And can you? And you go, are you talking to like children? Like, you are, but I don't think he knows he's doing it. But the acting's so bad, the reading the script is so bad. And then I was thinking, these are obviously pre-written, these scripts. So who's he? He literally just turns up and reads an autoprompter the whole way through. There's no going off the script. And you go,
one of his chief script writers was fired a while ago, 6-7 months ago.
That rings a bell, yeah.
Because it came out he was a white supremacist.
That was it, right?
Effectively a Nazi.
Yeah.
Lots of chat logs were leaked where he was on a white supremacist forum, I think, a secret closed forum, and lots of chat leaks were leaked. And he was bragging about how he was slipping in white supremacy and fascist talking points into the speeches.
Listen, all these right wingers, these Sean Hannity's and whatever Tucker Carlson's, and all these people that hate for no reason, these politicians full of hate. As I've said before, it's all going to come down to some self-loathing, probably some sort of hidden perversion inside them. So I hate the world. They hate everyone. There's no. The blacks, they could go back to the Irish. If you got rid of the black people, they'd go back to the Irish and the Italians. You know what I mean? They'll find anything until they're just on their own beating their wife up. You know, that's where it all goes back to. So just giving these people a bloody noise. But the Fox, I don't know why the Fox channel doesn't. I mean, a lot of their advertisers have left now, haven't they? They're struggling a bit because people just we can't be tied to this. I remember about 6 months ago, they all started dropping off. I think that's where old Pillow Man started popping up, wasn't it? What was his name? CEO was
I know.
He was advertising because but it's like, well, he's notable because he's the one bloke. But he came out of the White House the other day. Did you see it? Where he came out and he had the piece of paper under his arm. He was meeting with Trump.
What was it? Martial law if necessary.
Yeah, somebody zoomed in on the piece of paper that he had. Like, he still hasn't realised that they've got long lens camera, and he had an A4 pad with the white bit showing with all the writing, and it was like, the thing there and the treason and martial law and.
Sometimes people do that on purpose, I feel.
Oh, because, but that's what I thought. But I thought, no, they're too stupid.
They're too stupid to do that on purpose. But you just buy some of those. Just buy
Just close the book.
Well, just buy some book things. Some of those book things, they open close. You can put documents in. Just have a stack of those by the door.
Have a briefcase.
Anything. But have a stack of those by the door.
Close the front page.
So you can just hand them out. You can just hand them out to people.
But this is a bloke who runs a company with pillows. I mean, why is he leaving the White House with stuff about martial law under his arm? I mean, you really get desperate for friends now.
Because Trump, that's the only people who talk to
money.
Trump.
Lunatics. You've only got the lunatics left.
Yeah.
Oh God! So what are we going to do when Trump's out? I mean, he's not got the sort of he's kept us entertained while the coronavirus has swept through the nation. He's allowed that to sweep through, but he's kept us entertained the whole way through.
We'll have to go back. He'd be a funny guy if so many people hadn't died. You know what I mean? It'd almost be like, well, you entertained us.
Well,
but then you look at
what
the
day are we
figures.
now? What day's Sunday? So is he out this week? Coming this week?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is our last show. So what
Fingers
happens?
crossed. Touch wood, man. Come on.
So Wednesday then, I guess?
Yeah, I think it's Wednesday, yeah.
Okay, so we'll be interested to see. So what's he said? I honestly haven't paid any attention. I didn't even hear the speech he did before they marched on. I think I've just given up on him. So what's he saying now about what's happening on the day or whatever?
He's not quite quiet.
He's not going though.
He's not going to the thing. Yeah.
Are they usually ceremonially?
You're expected to be there. Yeah, I think he's the first one since 1869 to not be there.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop pretending now. I don't care about all this crap. I don't care. There was a woman. Was it I can't remember who it was now. It's one of those people that are inside the thing, and he was saying why things are so bad is because there's no actual head of the government at the moment when Trump's there. Because what he says is he's not bothered about the health care and the this and the that. He cares a bit about the army because he can show off tanks and cars and things, but he doesn't care about any of this stuff. So when people come to him, what do you think we should do? He just says, look, you know what you're doing, go and sort it out. Let me get back to Twitter. You're healthcare, go and sort it. You know what you're doing, just go and do it. I don't want to know. So you've got all these people that sort of become fractured where there's nobody at the head going, we have to sort of work this out. Everyone is just doing their own thing. And then because they like the fact that he's got no interest in any of these budgeting things and all that, they're all starting to do their own bloody things and cream bits of money off and make little things. Because there's nobody in charge. There's like nobody in charge. All he cares about is him and Twitter and a little bit about the army.
We can get him to sign off. I'm sure he's one of these dudes who you just stick a piece of paper, goes, oh, here's the new education policy or whatever. He's like,
yeah, I've got
sure,
10
is
new
it good?
people.
And they go, oh, it's amazing, it's the best. He's like, cool,
I've got 4 jobs here. My cousin, we've got surnames. Are yours? Yeah, 200,000 a year. Could you sign it? It's very complicated. It's a stack of paperwork. Could you just sign up? Yeah, there you go. That's it. That's as much as I care.
Here's all the notes you have to read. And he'll be like, oh no.
What happened to the healthcare plan? That healthcare plan that was going to come. It's coming. He don't even know what it is. He doesn't know. He doesn't understand the Constitution. He doesn't know the Bible stuff. Yeah, I'm Christian.
Any day now, that healthcare plan is going to be amazing.
When they actually and it's because they're not doing it. They genuinely sort of did believe he was religious when he went to do that speech, last year or whatever. And he's being interviewed for the channel, the Christian channel, and they're saying, "So can you tell us some of your favourite what do you call it, the paragraphs on the Bible?" And you're going,
Bible verses,
it's a very personal thing. So you go, well, it's a very personal thing.
Just all of it. When people
and he said, "Which one do you want to the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament?" He goes, I like both. I think both.
Yeah, they both are good.
Come on. You surely must have gone, tell me one line from the Bible that I can pull out if needed. Like, just give me one. Didn't even do that. I mean, going holding up the Bible upside down outside the thing and then sodding off. And the priest was like, he didn't even ask.
That's not. In fact, that's a sort of anti-Christian thing.
Yeah.
That's the anti. Yeah, that's the.
And tear gassing people out the way so you can go and hold the Bible up, but to just go and go. Well, that's me done. Nothing? You're not going to go in the church at least for 5 seconds? Have a photograph with the priest? No. The priest said he just turned up and sodded off, didn't even ask. No. It was just tear gas as he's gone. Oh, God. Right, so let's wind this down.
We'll miss him. We'll miss him when he's gone, won't we?
Yeah, his little wig. Yeah.
No.
Well, anything going on? Anything exciting?
No, we're in the middle of a lockdown, Theo.
But obviously something. You're writing a script. You're writing an award-winning script. I can see it. Is there anything happening?
I'm working on some scripts, yeah.
Anything exciting? Zombies?
Well, there's a sequel to the one that's aliens and zombies in it, so yeah.
Aliens and zombies?
Yeah.
Is there something you can loosely... How do they meet? How do they cross paths?
Well, no, it's because aliens land and then they basically turn people into zombies to be like the foot soldiers, because there's only a few of them at a time.
Oh, okay. Like Plan 9 from Outer Space, yeah?
I guess so, yeah. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
Okay.
And what's happening in your Marvel universe, Charles? Anything?
Working on a few things. Back at work again. Yeah.
You're earning some good money, Charles.
Kind of, yeah.
Are you like the Demi Moore thing on the bed with the money, throwing the money? No, not quite.
I'm earning good money, yeah, for what I'm doing. So.
Oh, that's good. Are you ordering comic books online?
I'm having to stock because I'm running out of room.
Stock? Is the floor creaking?
Okay, kind of. Yeah, no, but I'm running out of space in my bookcase thing. I realised, I was like, oh god. I've got nowhere to put stuff, and I've got a whole bunch of stuff pre-ordered as well. So
this is really odd. This is very niche, but in the comedy Bottom, Adrian Edmondson and Royal Mail, and there's only about 10 people that know what I'm talking about now. But yeah, that was great. That was it. That was fantastic, and just reminded me there was a funny bit where what was it? There was a saying somebody was on that Demi Moore book actually. There was a director and he was saying, I thought, that makes sense. He was saying you've got to think that nuance, personal nuance, is ubiquity. The more nuanced you are, the more people have that nuanced feeling that they don't get talk about. Do you know what I mean? I mean, by something very specific to you, do you think, no, nobody's interested in that? You go, oh, that's the thing that never gets talked about, that everyone would go, oh, yeah, that's me. But anyway, so the bottom, he says there's one where he thinks he sees the fortune teller and he says, like, you're going to die tonight, sort of thing. And then he's hiding under this tent in the downstairs. And he goes, and he's upstairs, he can hear a bang, and he goes, what'd you go up there for? He said, I was just pushing the piano in the middle of the room. I was thinking, I thought, why have they got a piano upstairs? But just I was just pushing the piano in the middle of the room. Oh, God, anyway. Well, there you go. We've laughed. Nobody knows what we're talking about. If you want niche, that is niche, my friend.
Yeah. Early 90s slapstick BBC comedy at its finest, yeah.
He was actually a very good actor. Rick, what was his name? Rick
Mayo,
Rick
yeah.
Mayo. He was a good actor. Okay, so
Yeah,
there you go.
I did a pilgrimage to the bench.
Oh,
what's
really?
this?
a few
What's
years
this?
ago. You know,
The bottom
Hammers-
bench.
Yeah, the bottom bench, where they shoot the intro bits. You know, the intro bit where they just sat on this bench in the middle of like
Punching each other, basically.
and they get into a fist fight. It's the opening of the TV show.
Oh,
It was just
there.
after he.
Where
yeah,
is
just
it?
after
Where
he
is it?
died. It's in Hammersmith.
oh, it is in Hammersmith because that's
Yeah,
where
yeah.
they said it was filmed, weren't they?
Yeah, I
I'm
think
from
so, yeah.
Hammersmith.
But it was just after he died, and there were lots of tributes and flowers.
Oh,
and stuff.
right. Does it say anything on there about that?
At the time, it was just literally covered, and they
So it
had
doesn't say
the
this
thing
is where.
said, "Rick is dead. Rick is dead. The people's poet is dead." You know that bit
People's
from the young
poet.
ones. Yeah,
Oh, right, okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh, God, the young ones. Now we're down to about 2 people that know what we're talking about. God, that. What year? When were they? When did that play out? What were the young ones? Well, that wasn't 70s, was it? 80s.
That was 80s. Yeah.
It was Alexis Sale and then Ben Elton.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talent came out of that. Bloody hell. Think about it now.
There's all the alternative comedians at that time.
Yeah. All right, well, there you go. That's the show. So, yeah, we are going to milk this because I refuse to go into the new studio until it's our second album, second series.
So this is episode 99.6.
Yeah, I mean, it's pathetic, but, we're being honest about it. Otherwise, I would have held out. I'm not doing it until we're in the new place.
Fair enough.
Which I've got to go and shift some stuff.
There's an infinite number of
right.
decimal places. So, I mean, we can keep on going for a while.
I had a couple of tables delivered and it came in about 50 bits. I was like, oh, Christ almighty. So now I've got a bloody Allen key with about 50
Little
different
tiny ones.
sockets.
You just
Yeah, and I'm looking at just a stack of screws. Anyway, so that's 99.6. And so next week, 99.6. So what trajectory are we on? If you was to calculate the trajectory of shows, when would 100 be? What month, day of the month? So this Sunday is what date?
What?
This Sunday coming would be what? Next Saturday week would be what date?
99.7.
I feel this is an off-air conversation.
No, so it'd be the end of February.
It's a
So it'd be
free
the end-
podcast, guys.
Yeah. So it would be mid-February, would it? The last
Sure.
show?
Why not?
4 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh well, that's the show then. Oh, I mean, you blew it there. Well, we went out. We was doing all right then. We shouldn't have had the post-production meeting.
What's this we shit?
And
You
on
guys-
next week's show, ladies and
You were
gentlemen.
doing the
we'll all-
outro. And like,
As usual, we're all in agreement. I was hoping Kerem would have cut us off by now, to be honest. He should know better. But that's the show, 99.6. Is that the one
Yes.
we've just done?
Yes.
And we will be back next week for 99.7.
7.
99.61. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you say? Yeah, A. Point A. Dash. All right, we'll see you next week. Cheers.
All right, take
See you
care,
next
everyone.
week,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Here's your story, let's begin. The water's fine, come on, dive in. The future's here, it's right before your eyes. Step by step, you're on your way. You're welcome to a brighter day. Don't you know it feels good to be alive? You could be larger than